All right, well, we are back putting all this stuff together now. So here is where we're at. Here is a key for this shaft, for the drive shaft, transmission shaft. I don't know if you can see it, moon shaped, half moon shaped. There is a keyway on this side that you can't see. There's a slot about right here. This key, the rounded part, fits in that slot. I tapped it in, I cleaned it up, I tapped it in. Then what I'll do is I'll take this clutch hub that has the keyed part that is machined out, and I'm going to fit that on there, and that's what keeps this from spinning. This is a tapered shaft. I think machinists say never grease a tapered shaft, but I did. I put a very light coating of grease on that just so that I can get it back off. I also did a light coating of grease all on this, and you already saw my compensator I had greased up, so I'm really all greased up and I'm ready to roll. So here is the clutch shaft. This is what goes up against the throwout bearing on the other side. We've got some groovage here. I've not been that deep, so I don't know what causes that, but hopefully we're good. If somebody else knows and can line me out, thank you in advance. But I did clean this up. I put a light coating of, I'm using 60 weight in the transmission. I know people are beefing them up. They're going with, you know, all sorts of different, you know, that's another thing that everybody has an opinion on. So manual says use same oil as you put in the engine, 60 weight for around, you know, this weather. So that's what I did, right or wrong, that's what's in there. So I put a really light coating of SEA 60 weight oil on that, and we're good there. This was the old cork gasket that fit on like this, that had a different clutch nut that actually had a spring that kept spring-loaded pressure against that to keep that from leaking. I've been told that there's a bigger, better, right, stronger, faster way. So I got a new nut that I'm going to put on, that I'm going to have a rubber gasket, and some people say you only need one, other people say, hey, they're cheap, put in two, it won't leak, so I'm going to put in two. Two's got to be better than one, right? Maybe. And then that comes on, and this is what tightens down to keep this. Actually, it's a left-handed thread too. So you tighten lefty-tighty, and that's what will hold this clutch hub on. So I'm going to take this clutch hub, and I'm going to fit that on, match it up to the key, push it back on as far as I can. And now what I want to do is I'm going to take my sprocket, take the compensator pieces apart and just grab the sprocket. And I am going to, and I've put a light coating of grease in here on the back side, on the compensator. I'm going to put this on, but what I'm going to have to do is marry my chain, because I think, if I remember right, I had to take it off as one piece. So here's my clutch basket. Okay, and I've got a light coating of grease in here that I showed you. I am going to throw on the chain, and I cleaned the chain up, oiled it. So I am going to put the chain first look and see something here. Before I do that, I do not think there's any master link in these things, and there's not. So I'm going to take this, try to keep my greasy fingers out of the inside of the clutch. Okay. Got the chain on this side. Wipe my hands off here. Okay, then I'm going to take my drive sprocket out of the engine, and I'm going to try to stick that on. All right, so what I'm going to try to do is slip this on, and at the same time, slip this on. Oops, I actually have that backwards. My bad. Really hoping I might have to actually loosen up if I have to. Loosen up. My transmission, which I probably should do anyhow. Yeah, there's quite a bit of a difference there. So it looks as though I'm going to have to loosen up the transmission, push the transmission forward, get this on, then I'll readjust. So I'm gonna push pause, and we'll come back. All right, we are back, and check this out. For me to move the transmission, to move this closer so that the sprocket and my clutch basket and the chain, and I can get it on, and I took it off, and it was just a little bit tight. I thought it was a little bit tight. So to be able to move this transmission, there's 4 bolts underneath here, under there, for the transmission. So you loosen those up, 4 bolts. Actually, they're nuts. And then this bolt right here, you can actually unloosen it, and as you unloosen it, it will push this transmission this direction. Well, as you're pushing the transmission this direction, you're also pulling the drive chain this direction, and you're making it tight. So to get this to come closer, you have to come here. There is a keeps your nut from backing off, and then here's your lock nut. So I took It's not off. I took this off. I loosened this. And I backed the adjustment out counterclockwise. And I counted my flats so I can at least get back to where I was at. I'll check it anyhow. And then I was able to go to the other side and loosen this up to push this transmission forward. When I got it forward, I started to fit everything, and it was still a little bit tight. That's when the old bells went off in the old noggin, and I thought, well, I did lay that front sprocket from a 1960, and you know, who knows, you can change sprockets and tooth sizes and everything else, but from a 60 pan, this one over here, I stole the compensator off of that one and I put it on this one. Well, check this out. As I started to realize that I can't have to move it that much if it's the same size. Originally, when I got this compensator, in the second one, I went ahead and I set these two on top of each other, okay? And I looked down and all the teeth looked pretty good. Well, I didn't realize that the teeth were starting to move a little bit down on this bottom side. And I didn't count them, and I should have, right? So, what I did is I made a mark, and I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 is what came off of the 60. And this is the one that's has the crack in it that I don't want to take a chance on because it's cracked almost all the way through. Counted up 23. So so the moral of the story is count your teeth before you start loosening stuff up. It might save some time. Not a big deal. I get everything back the way it was. That's not a big deal. But I wish I would have done that in hindsight, right? And even just looking at them, I mean, if I look, I can tell. I was just excited because I thought I could get this maybe done today. So, I'm going to call a couple guys and see if they have a compensator sprocket, 23 tooth, and go from there. So we'll put this baby on hold, and still early in the afternoon. Get to play now. So might take a ride. So we'll get started on this as soon as I get the right parts. Have a good afternoon.